Gary, we're back for our post-game editions of Borough TV, and our 2019 season proper kicked off on Saturday night with a 10-point defeat at the hands of Williamstown. What was your initial take on the game?
Yeah, pretty scrappy more often than not, and I think probably the stats will also to reveal that there wasn't a lot of fluency in the game. Round one, you wait a long time for your obviously first hit out for the season. They probably were a little bit more creative with their ball movement than I probably thought we were, and where that was pressure, and we normally are fairly aggressive in attacking with our ball movement, but I don't think we did a lot of that over the sustained period of the game. I thought our stoppage work was a little bit sloppy. We fumbled and bumbled, and what I call ball security, we would take 2 or 3 takes to grab the ball and then distribute it, whereas Willie's boys were, I thought, cleaner over the whole of the night, and they probably just played the moments a little bit better than what we did as well. So we had a little bit of momentum in the second quarter and didn't actually really capitalise on that, and we had a little bit of momentum at the start of the last quarter too, and we butchered some inside 50 entries as well, and they were able to go forward and score some goals that just put that little bit of heat back on us. So a lot to work on. You know, we certainly didn't give the game away at any stage. 6 debutants, so there's a little bit of work that hopefully now we can pinpoint, which we already knew what we're not doing all that well, and there'll be some stuff on there to do on the training track for sure, mate.
There was obviously plenty of byplay in the build-up with Ben Jolly playing his first game against the former club. What was your summation of how he went in the conclusion of what must have been a very challenging week for him?
Yeah, no doubt it would have been. I reckon he would have played the game over in his mind quite a fair bit because of just the fact that he was a champion at Williamstown, captain, and still got a lot of good relationships there, I would have thought, and for him. But once you actually put the jumper on and there our colours, the red and blue, he would have been desperate to us or help us get the 4 points. So overall I thought his performance was pretty solid. His on-ground leadership, communication, helping other younger guys around the stoppages I thought was really good. He showed a lot of courage. I think he ended up taking 11 marks, and a lot of those would have probably been intercept marks. There was a fair bit of time the ball was down in their forward half anyway, so it was good to see him work really hard throughout the course of the match, and I thought he was one of our better contributors.
And a few new faces elsewhere as well. Jolly and 5 others in actual fact played their first games in the red and blue, as you said. What was your analysis on how each of those guys slotted into our system on Saturday night?
Yeah, Jakey Gasper's got a fair bit to learn, and that's going to be obviously understandable. He's a TAC Cup boy, and of course we're playing in the best competition outside the AFL, so he certainly tried to work the systems and structures in our forward line, but there was a lot of pressure out there. I thought Matty Signorello, look, he tried hard at the end of the game, but again, when you get the ball, you've got to be able to do a lot of good things with it and be quite productive, but again, he'll be better for the run. I thought Ben Giobbi tried pretty hard down back. Our back line at times certainly had to repel a lot of entries from Willie, but it probably says a little bit about our ball movement. It wasn't really getting into our forward half of the ground. Tommy Goodwin had a good battle with Meese, probably gave him a little bit of an advantage because of a few high free kicks, and those sorts of things always hurt when they're being able to have the pressure released, so then they can pump the ball going their way. Who else did we have? Sammy, Paddy Vespremi. Yeah, I thought he got better as the game got longer, and it's been something like 5 or 6 years that he's been out of the system, so I thought he was one of our defenders who did try to initiate some attacking play across half back, and he's an explosive sort of player. Once he gets the ball, it generally goes a fairly long way. You certainly got to have some sort of direction on that. And
that was about it.
Is that what we covered off?
I think that's about it.
Gee, look at my brain, it's gone already. There's only round one, Borough TV fans.
A fair few key personnel on the sidelines though on Saturday night too. Can we expect to see any of them fit and in contention for a spot this week?
I'd imagine so. We certainly will look at what we can do on the training track this week. Jared Blair, if he gets through the rest of this week's training, he'd be a good chance. Dill Conway's been given the nod to really step up his training, and he's been training really, really well. Dion Johnson certainly comes back from suspension. He only had the 1 week carryover from last year, so he'll be another one. So there's a good opportunity for some guys. We've got to be a little bit careful, as always, that you don't bring too many guys in that are a little bit ring rusty, and we've got to make sure that our performance is certainly better, and now that we've actually had a game, we can make a value decision and see how all those boys are by the end of the week.
And what are your thoughts on Richmond as an opponent this week? Another tough challenge, obviously, but no doubt plenty to work on from our own point of view on the training track between now and then as well.
Definitely, and look, it's always good to see where we're at and then comparing obviously to or against a really good side. They, obviously, as we know, grand finals against us, then of course last year made the finals again. What will happen is probably a little bit unknown, Sammy, because their senior AFL side looks like it's got a few little concerns in relation to potential suspension or injury, but it's always about us. And they must have had a good quarter against Geelong because that was where they blew the game open in the last. So we'll have a good look at them and see what we can do. But we generally work on the philosophy of it's more about what we can control and give the opposition due respect.
Well, Gary, thanks for joining us on Borough TV today. Bad luck on the weekend, but as we know, it is round one and there's a long season still ahead of us, so best of luck this week.
Yeah, let's look forward to another 20 weeks, mate.